This week, we're talking about Sabbath, what it is, and why you should have one. Check it out. 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 Check it out.
Here it comes.
What's up, girl? Welcome back, everybody, to the notorious BI Faith and Whatever podcast. My name is...
And welcome back to you, Josh.
Yeah, it's good to be home. We're glad
in the dungeon.
Vegas didn't kill us. The drive was not bad.
You didn't want to stay there, huh?
No, dude, I don't like Las Vegas.
2 days of Vegas is all you need.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting. We got to hang out with her family because that's where her family lives and stuff. And it's a beautiful area, and it's up and coming. There's a lot of development and things like that. But it just kind of sucks, like 7 months out of the year, right? From like March to August is pretty unbearable in terms of the heat. Yeah. And then like December and January and sometimes November, it's like garbage cold out there. Yeah.
It is so painfully cold in Vegas. People don't even know.
Yeah. So we are here today on episode 56. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. If you're watching us on if you're listening to us on the podcast, thank you so much as well. And today for our religion topic, we are discussing the idea of Sabbath. One of the things that is very important to us, we've realized in our own lives, and both, we all do faith and whatever as our second jobs, essentially, and we all work full-time jobs. Yeah, and we all work full-time jobs in addition to, and so we've been kind of talking around the water cooler on Monday mornings about the idea of how important Sabbath is and how we been thinking that we need to do a little bit more of it. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, and I think what's really interesting for me, we've been going through this small group series at the church that I work at called Soul Keeping by John Ortberg, and it's kind of based on a lot of Dallas Willard's teaching and stuff. And it's been tremendously helpful for kind of helping establish a routine of rest for me. And I've been pretty interested. Chris, is this a better level to talk at?
Yeah, you're fine.
This is good right here? Okay. Yeah. And so one of the things that I found extremely interesting was in my own life, so I'll share a little bit about myself real quick. I do counseling every week, and the theme of my year of counseling with my counselor that we've been talking about so far has been cultivating Sabbath. And so it's kind of been this nice matchup of what I've been working on in my personal life and now what I'm seeing in my ecclesial life. And we just got to this point where we're talking about how I need to start. He's giving me homework, essentially, right, to do like 1 hour of Sabbath every week for the next month and to see what that looks like. And so I just wanted to, kind of get what has your guys' experience for you, Chris, and you, Garrett, what has your guys' experience been with Sabbath in general? Has this been something that you've been able to be good at keeping naturally? If so, how have you done it? If not, why do you suck at it? And so, Garrett, we'll start with you. What do you think?
It's really hard. I think it's one of the most difficult disciplines of Christianity because it's this interesting balance of,
I'm sorry. Let's define. Can you define Sabbath for us before we kind of jump into it?
Well, I think it would be taking rest for two reasons: to rest as a human and individual, and to rest into God, and to rest into His Spirit, so that because and honestly, much of our life takes away from connecting with God, and so it's important in Sabbath to rest and to be refreshed, your energy and your spirit, but also to rest in the Father, just so that you can spend time. Kind of ebb and flow, a time that you're closer to Him, because maybe throughout your busy work week you're just further from Him.
Sure.
And so I think it's one of the most difficult things to do because I don't know if our culture necessarily values.
I really like your hair this week.
Sorry. Does it look okay?
Yeah, keep going. No, sorry, keep going.
I don't know if our culture values rest at all.
Yeah, totally not.
It's being busy is important. It means you're wanted and you're needed and you're important. If you always have things to do and places to be at, and I think that our culture doesn't necessarily value that. On the other hand, it values downtime and rest as kind of just like media consumption, just like, hey, what are you doing this spring break? Are you going on an adventure? I'm like, no way, dude, there's like 17 shows I got to catch up on Netflix, And I know that can be restful, but I don't know if that's necessarily the rest that, that God has in mind when he, I don't know if that's really resting your soul if you're consuming things. So individually, for me and my family, and when I want to do Sabbath, it's hard to figure out kind of what that is for me, because I think for everyone it's different. What you would consider Sabbath, what looks like rest for you, what looks like resting in the Father looks like to you. It's different. So as a family, when you're married, it's kind of a hybrid of both those things. But being a working husband, that Sabbath time usually is also mixed with family time.
Right.
Doing things with family so that they feel you're having fun, you're having time together. So I think it's really hard, and I think it's probably a balance of weekend time, but also a balance of daily Sabbathing. whether that's early in the morning, whether that's different times throughout the day.
Yeah. Chris, how have you been with this in your career?
I don't actually do very well with this because I've been essentially a freelancer for most of my adult life. And so I just kind of always work when I want to work and rest when I feel like I need to rest. So I don't do real good with having a specific day or weekend. I can't remember Sundays ever being a peaceful day.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or Saturday. Like growing up, Saturday was cleaning day, then Sunday was church day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All those Christians who are mad that like you're working on the Sabbath. I'm like, please don't forget your pastors and worship leaders.
Yeah, no joke.
Who worked every Sunday.
So
I can remember.
Well, and so this has been interesting to me. So we actually kind of talked about this a little bit in August of last year. We broached this topic a little bit, but I
great memory.
Yeah, and I want to get a little bit deeper into it today. And for people who are checking us out for the first time, they're not going to see a video from August. But what is intriguing to me about this is more of the daily thing there. So one of the things that I've been kind of working through and trying to establish in my own life is a daily Sabbath routine to some degree. And I have realized I'm awful at this. I am straight trash at attempting to do this. I have a student that I met up with who's in college now, and he was telling me about, shout out Michael Mabuni. He was telling me about how on Sunday mornings he's gotten to the point now, he's going to be mad that I shared this, but he's able to go like the whole morning. So in the morning, he'll go to church, right? And then he'll come back and he'll have 0 electronics time. And he just spends the whole time either in worship or playing guitar, and doing worship songs like that, or just, sitting and praying in meditative prayer, or just sitting and being silent there. Yeah. And then he does that all the way from like about, 10 or 11 in the morning, maybe noonish, to about 5 when dinner starts. And
Who is this guy?
And dude, that's what I'm saying. So I was kind of telling him like, you should probably just take over our youth group. You're way more like qualified for this than I am. So
saint.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And so I was thinking, but I began thinking about that. So he's doing it weekly, and he's very good at it. So I began kind of wondering, okay, how can I be better than him and do it daily?
Everything's a competition for you.
And so I'm in the middle of this thesis time right now, right, trying to get this thing banged out and done so I can just devote my whole life to faith and whatever. And so as I've been working, though, I have found this app, right, that I kind of brought up a few weeks ago called this cold turkey thing. And at the it lets you work in interval times.
Does it work on your phone, too?
I don't know.
Yeah, so you can block Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, so it blocks Facebook and Twitter and all your time suck websites. And I've done that
my time on
before.
Facebook?
Is that a real thing?
Patent pending.
And so at the end, I'm doing these hour intervals, and at the end of these hours, I've been getting up and like locking myself in this bathroom or somewhere and just spending time in prayer there. Like, hey, thank you, Lord, that I was able to get through this hour, and just kind of trying to cultivate. No, it's not. You can buy that should be our new website, faithbook.com.
Maybe on something, boys.
Probably like $7,000 a year.
Yeah, and so
GoDaddy. Look it up.
I was like, what? So I've been trying to work into this daily routine, and this has been hard for me. But one of the things that I started doing, right, getting up early and going with my wife to the gym at 6 a.m. Monday through Thursday, has given me all this time in the front end, and I have been able now to see this cultivating Sabbath work like 2 or 3 times a week in the morning, where I'm just able to set aside like 20 or 30 minutes to sit and pray there, and then sit and read scripture. And so I'm really elated because I finally have been incorporating this on an actual level for about the last 5 weeks, and I'm starting to see some palatable results. And I'm super interested in this idea for those of us who work in ministry about its value. I'm in the small group now, and it's the first small group I've been a part of as an adult that I wasn't leading to some degree. Yeah. And, that's over 10 years. It's
I guess nearly impossible. I mean, it almost never happens in ministry.
Right.
And they look to you like, hey, are you going to lead it?
Yeah. And so it's been this insane thing to think about. So I have just been wondering, or, kind of thinking out loud, like, what are you thinking for you, or Chris, if you have some ideas too, about what a good form of Sabbath might look like in your own life, especially if you're, my concern, I guess, specifically with this episode is if like you're somebody who works in ministry, right? And like, these things can apply to, kind of people who are not in ministry as well. But for specifically those of us who are, busy with either ministerial type stuff or like full-time, noon to, like sun up to sundown type jobs that require our time and attention, how do you rest? How do you have a Sabbath for yourself?
I think it's different for everybody. I mean, I think it'd be hard to create a system that works because of the way schedules work. I mean, I think it needs to be an attitude that you're going to prioritize it. For me, for the past, I
Oh man, it's a thing. Facebook is a thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
For the past week, which is not very long, but I wanted to work out and just
No likes though.
get healthier. And Jim just didn't seem.
Yeah, I saw you doing that stupid trail running.
Yeah, so I wake up. I wake up
Wow,
early in the
such
morning,
animosity towards jogging.
and I run.
Jogging.
I run on trails, and many of them. Well, I've never run across anyone else. So they're empty and they're in nature, and I thought about, well, should I listen to music?
That's interesting for you because you can have breakfast on your trail run.
Oh yeah, I eat wild mustard, California wild mustard, like the whole time. It gets a little bit hot.
That's so
I'd like to
gross.
see Josh trying to pray while running. Dear God,
Please kill everybody.
don't let me die
So
before I
mean,
get home.
I spend time. I don't know if I spend time praying. I talk to God for sure. I mean, I don't. So I thought about listening to music and podcasts. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna no headphones. So I'm just it's. I wouldn't say it's silent because there's the nature, the sound of. Well, there's a dump next to it, so there's the sound of
the sound of the 57.
yeah, and the 57 and heavy machinery. But it gives me lots of time to think about life, and maybe I have decisions that big or small, and if I don't have the time to think about them and contemplate and ask God's input, I don't think I'm going to necessarily make the right decision in every case.
Sure.
So I think that was for me that word because it accomplished a couple of goals. It allowed me. I have what they call a nature deficit disorder. That's not a real thing, kind of.
NDD.
If I don't spend a lot of time outside, I just get kind of depressed and like kind of stir crazy, just wanting to be outside. So that helps me with that.
So I'm the exact opposite.
If
If I spend too much time outside of a library, I feel a little bit distressed and disturbed. Is that a thing?
See, no,
LDD?
Sure, yeah, why not?
We're all
It's
disordered.
different for everybody.
You're all
So
disordered.
I think for some people, and I don't know if this is totally up to the person, but I mean, if you've got the dawn to dusk job, but you have an hour commute, maybe your commute can be Sabbath, even though it's frustrating. But if you spend the whole time listening to NPR, you're probably more frustrated.
I love NPR so much.
Why not turn it all off and just
white people
talk to God out loud?
Yeah.
Or listen to Scripture. And is it as productive and efficient as other quiet times in the Sabbath? I don't know. People just judge you if they try to say that. I mean,
I'm going to go ahead and judge and say no.
You're wrong.
Yeah, and this is what I think. I see this an example of Jesus like all the time making it a point to get away. Right, and if we're somebody that
like on a trail run up in a hill,
next to a giant dump,
It sounds lovely.
if our job is to be imitated, if our job is to be an imitator of Jesus, right? I think we have to cultivate this time where we can't. I think the Sabbath commute, the commuter Sabbath, I think is a good idea to start.
What's the guy who works 70 hours a week?
Yeah, and
Well, if you have a Google car.
well, and so
Yeah, that's right.
But that's my thought, right? Like, I wonder how much should we be impressing on people the idea of like, no, it's not a concept of fitting into stuff you're already doing. It's the reverse, right?
Yeah, unless those people look forward to listening to something in the car, media.
That's like 6 of us that enjoy that.
No, not enjoy your commute, but you're like, you're using it as me time. You can use it as a we time.
Yeah. I mean, better something.
You're
than
sacrificing something.
Nothing.
I
Yeah,
guess.
better something than nothing. That's for sure. I'll agree with that. Chris, what do you think is something? So there are a growing list of entrepreneurs like yourself who have all these side hustles.
Yep.
What do you think
Always hustling.
then is it's a form of advice that you could give people as somebody who's walked this road for over almost 20 years now?
You do have to take time to rest. You absolutely do, for sure. And if you can make it a regular time, all the better. But if you don't, you're going to burn out, and then you'll crash, and then you won't get anything done. So it's better to take a little bit of time
So is this
off.
speaking from experience?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. So can you share with us a burnout time?
Well, I mean, there's like I was trying to get a car ready for a car show once. I worked on it just every day. The car show was on Saturday. And so I started the Saturday before. I worked on it every day for a week. I worked till like 1, 2 a.m. every morning. Saturday came and I was so tired I couldn't go to the car show.
Oh, man.
I just slept through the whole thing.
What a bust. Did the car make it?
No, I didn't. It was my car.
Oh, man.
So like I didn't even.
Funny.
Which one was that?
The Buick, the first time I chopped it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so
That's terrible.
yeah, I was just like.
That's a good example, though.
But yeah, it's the exact kind of thing. You spend so much time.
That's perfect, dude.
Yeah, and it scales up too.
Yeah,
If you spend months and months working on something and so you can have a better life, you're gonna crash before you have that better life.
That's so important, dude.
But something that we talked about, our church, we've been going through this 8 weeks of Lent. It's titled Soul Care, and we
It's
just
a lot
made
of laundry.
Oh.
What?
Lint and laundry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your way of telling us you're going to be a dad?
Yeah.
Jokes like that?
Actually, let me. I got something to talk to you about off air.
Wow.
Whoa.
Okay. So soul care. How do you care for your soul? And we've kind of made the analogy, like, you know,
Sure do.
if you're willing to commit a couple hours a week, whatever, an hour a week to working out, you know, and then you see the results, then don't be frustrated where your relationship with God is or the pace of your life if you're not willing to spend time with God,
Right.
working that out.
Right.
And so that, and the thing we said is we offered different things because it's different people. We offered yoga, we offered a songwriting class, we
Speed.
offered workshops on Sabbath. I just led a
movie.
workshop last week on how to do a media fast. You know, so like the type of the way you care for your soul is very
Unplug.
different.
Go outside.
Exactly. I said
And
that.
done.
I
How
said
about
that.
just a Faraday cage? You go in here and no electronic signals can get to you.
I talked for like 30 minutes on like why we should, and then it came to like how, and I was like, I think I just wanted to end it here. I didn't. I gave them tips, but it's like if you don't know how to do a media fast, then we're in trouble.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I have. Well, that's what I've been finding is that Sabbath typically involves active rest, right? Resting, it's not something to just fall asleep on, though that's a part of it. But I think Sabbath, as far as the Bible is concerned,
Sabbath isn't a hammock.
yeah, I mean, yeah, in a simple way it is, but to stop there, right?
Yeah.
There totally screws you out of this experience that you could be
Yeah.
having, where I think there's a form of active rest that's required on
Commitment
on the
and
part.
sacrifice.
Beyond those things, I think Sabbath is indicative of a time of intimacy. I think there's an intimacy implied in the term in the way that it's used in Scripture, particularly intimacy in time with the Lord or time with your family or whatever it might be. But hurry is the great enmity of intimacy, right? Like that's a pretty good catchphrase, right?
No,
So
it's too many.
hurry destroys your intimacy
Sure,
in that. And but I think that's a super important point because we hurry and we hurry so much and we value hurry there. In the same way, if I'm trying to spend time with my wife there, or how about this? If I treat my time with my wife like the potential, can typically happen in terms of the way that I treat time with God, where I check in every couple days or so, with my word and see how things are going there. And I'm expecting to build intimacy with my
Right.
wife. Like, I don't think I could just check in every couple days and say,
Right.
hey, babe, how are you? Okay,
Right.
cool. I'll see you on Thursday. And just kind of, it doesn't seem to work. And how much more, right, is it in this case in terms of our time with the Lord?
I say that all the time, even with our students who they go to camp. Like, man, I wish I could be like so much better of a Christian next time I go to camp.
Yeah, well, when you try 1 week out of the 52,
Yeah.
you're totally screwing yourself out of
It's
this
like
one.
going to like a marathon convention. You're like, dude, I want to run a marathon next year. And then you get there again. You're like, crap, I didn't run one
I
time.
cannot wait to start prepping for next year's marathon. Yeah. So, all right, this seems like a pretty good spot. Any last thoughts?
I just say find out what works for you and just be committed to it.
There. So make sure that you're willing to give things a try. I think that's
Yeah.
that's a big one. All right, we will be back in a little bit.